For today's video, we're going to talk about the time that the Smurfs met a reasonable facsimile of Santa Claus when they met up with Mr. Nicholas. So, alright, let's go!
Yeah! So, we start off in Smurf Village, and it's wonderful because it's Christmas Eve! And it is going to be a super extra Smurfy Christmas this year, because this year it's Baby Smurf's first Christmas! How exciting! So Papa Smurf and the other Smurfs are showing the little blue guy the Christmas traditions around these mushroom parts. You know, fantastic things like baking cookies and cakes and pies. And if you're like me, overeating these cookies and cakes and pies. Also, you know, having the mistletoe hanging and kissing someone underneath it, to which Smurfette would basically be like a walking kissing booth, you know? But fun times indeed. And not just fun times in the Smurf Village, but like frickin' everywhere, right? Including Christmas festivities at Gargamel's hovel, where we find Gargamel is also practicing some Christmas traditions, more specifically, the one where you write to Mr. Nicholas and ask for some gifts. In Gargamel's case, just like he asks for every single year, he is asking Mr. Nicholas for 6 Smurfs, so he can make some gold out of them, which I still have no idea how the hell that works. Like, what if you only have like 4 Smurfs, you know? Are you making bronze? Which I guess is still impressive, but still, I don't get it. Also not getting it is frickin' Gargamel. What the hell makes him think he's actually on the nice list? This frickin' jerk, hey? Forget the coal, like at this point the guy should be getting a sock full of horse manure. But speaking of Mr. Nicholas, everybody loves this lovable dude, right? And why wouldn't you? He makes toys for all the kids in the land. He spreads Christmas cheer to everybody. He even helps stray puppies off the street. Like, man, what a swell guy. And him being that wonderful is exactly why the horrible witch, Chlorhydris, can't stand him. Spreading joy and love, bah, Smurf bug. And so she has a plan to destroy his Christmas cheer, and therefore the Christmas cheer of everyone. But even with that, you know, sometimes Christmas cheer is actually pretty hard to come by, you know? Like in the case of our good friend here, Eric Norton, unfortunately also known as the poorest kid in town, he's taking care of his sick mother this Christmas. So much so that when he writes to Mr. Nicholas, he's not asking for anything for himself, you know, like no toys, no new clothes or whatever. He's asking for Mr. Nicholas to make his mother feel better, to not be sick anymore. Which, you know, like, oh man, like that really pulls at the heartstrings, hey? But also, that really puts Mr. Nicholas in a really tough position. Like, he's a toy maker after all, not a doctor. There's only so much that he can do. But Chlorhydris is putting Operation Destroy Christmas into action. And she is noticed by Papa Smurf, Baby Smurf, Painter Smurf, Handy Smurf, Taylor Smurf, Greedy Smurf, Grumpy Smurf, and Smurfette. So they follow her along to see what the heck she's up to because it can't be anything good. And indeed it is not, for with her she has the kiss of hate. She does the old mistletoe trick and plants a wet one on Mr. Nicholas. And suddenly, Mr. Nicholas is full of anger and contentment to his fellow humans. And even worse yet, towards Christmas. Oi, he even kicked the stray puppy out of his house. Not good. Not good at all. So he washes his hands of Christmas and toy making and he goes to bed to hopefully sleep through the entire holiday, leaving all of those toys unfinished and not being delivered. So Papa Smurf figures it's up to him and his Smurf buddies to save Christmas by finishing all the toys, to which they do. Everyone on the list is finished, they're all wrapped as presents, they're all put on the sled, ready to be delivered, and nothing. And why nothing? What the hell's happening? Well, nothing. But seriously, the reindeer are not moving. They are trained to move only for Mr. Nicholas, and you know what? He ain't gonna be doing any of that stuff this year.
So therefore, neither are his reindeer. So that kind of sucks for the Smurfs, right? Like they put all this work into this and nothing. But the Smurfs, they are determined. And they try to do the impossible. So what can these little blue creatures do to try to convince a man under an evil magical spell to be good again? Well, not much, but the stray puppy found the letter from Eric Norton. You know, the one where he was asking for help to cure his mom? And if that heartfelt letter doesn't actually lift a curse, then I don't know what would. So that letter softens Mr. Nicholas's heart, but not fully. So now it's up to baby Smurf. He plants a kiss on Mr. Nicholas's nose, and just like that, boom! He's all back to being ho 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 and stuff like that. So there's a chance that Christmas could be saved. He just has to hop in his sleigh and flip, deliver those gifts. Unfortunately, so much time has passed during the night, and it's almost dawn. Luckily, Baby Smurf has magical powers. Really? What? Like, when did he get magical powers? I know it's been a while since I've watched the Smurfs, but what? And, well, he uses these magical powers to make the reindeer fly, and fly very fast. Again, what? Well, it doesn't matter because the show must go on! And on it goes! And so he flies around the village and, well, I guess potentially the region, delivering these toys at 30,000 feet. Later, on Christmas morning, all of the homes were visited and all of the toys were delivered, including Eric Norton's home. And what a fantastic sight! They got a Christmas tree, it's all decorated. They got some toys, which is cool. They also got a meal on the table. And they also got the stray puppy from earlier, which, on one hand, super wonderful. On the other hand, that's another mouth to feed, realistically. But no matter how wonderful all of those things are, nothing compares to what's coming next. Eric's mother makes a full recovery. She's back to perfect health. I don't know how or what she was sick with. Maybe her fever broke or something. Or, maybe Baby Smurf used his magic voodoo powers, like, who knows? Either way, Christmas is saved. Hooray! Well, not hooray for Gargamel, because he got nothing. And realistically, he deserves nothing, No Smurfs, no tree, no food, nada, zip, zilch. Oh, but his cat Azrael did get something. He got a wind-up mouse toy, so that's pretty cool. I didn't realize Azrael was on the nice list, but hey, he's a cat, so you can't really say no, right? And back at Smurf Village, after a hard night of building toys, the Christmas festivities are back on. And so with that is the end of this Smurfy tale. Hey, like, what an awesome episode! Something about Smurfs and Christmas that just seem to go hand in hand. And Christmas, hey? Like, it's an awesome time of year when even Gargamel is getting into the festivities. And one thing that I do love about this is that the reason Gargamel never got a Smurf from Mr. Nicholas was because Mr. Nicholas had no idea what a Smurf was. Right? Like, what can he do? Well, I guess he could write a letter to Gargamel, for some clarification or something. But I don't think Mr. Nicholas really has a customer service department, so what can you do? Also, like Mr. Nicholas, like, I kind of found it funny that he has his house, like, right in town. Everyone knows where he lives. So if someone didn't get a gift, like they can just go to his house and like toilet paper it or egg it or something, Or an evil witch can go to his house and put a curse on him. Like that's why Santa Claus lives in the North Pole, man. Like so nobody can get to him. Safety first, my friends. And Mr. Nicholas being caught underneath that evil spell, like, I haven't seen a heel turn that impactful since Hulk Hogan joined the New World Order. And he became Hollywood Hogan. Well, okay, that one was pretty cool, but like Mr. Nicholas going bad, I guess not so much. And what exactly was being ruined at Christmas, with Chlorhydris' plan? Chlorhydris? Basically, kids would not get toys. That's pretty much it. Which, if you were a kid watching this cartoon, and of course you were because you're the targeted demographic, getting no toys at Christmas, sure, that would be devastating. But, everything else at Christmas would still happen, right? You'd still have the big feast, you'd still meet all your friends and family, still have all those wonderful decorations. It would be kind of like Thanksgiving, but fancier. And if there's one thing that we learned from the Grinch Who Stole Christmas is that Yahoo Doris or whatever, no matter what, Christmas Day will come at last. As long as we have hands to pass. But, I guess kind of not for everyone, hey? Like with our good buddy Eric there. And that's the really awesome thing about this Christmas episode. Sometimes we get all caught up in our own Christmases, our own buying gifts and getting the meals ready and all that kind of stuff. But we don't actually stop to think about people who are really not getting any of that. This is the season of giving, to open up your heart to others. And someone doesn't have to do something as fantastic as making reindeer fly, for the first time to make other people's Christmases wonderful. If people want, they can donate to the food bank or to a toy drive or something, Make the season bright! But indeed, still this is a fantastic Christmas episode. Christmas cheer, Christmas giving, people on the naughty list not getting what they want, it's a win for everybody. And with that, we do have some more kind of behind the scenes kind of things, a bit with Smurfs and Christmas and that, so let's go check that stuff out over here.
So yes, indeed, the Smurfin' Smurfs, eh? These fantastic blue little creatures? So as we've all learned from school, the Smurfs first appeared in 1958 in Belgian comic books. So popular were they that they eventually got their own TV series in 1961, which, didn't last that long. But they would hit superstardom in 1981 with their new animated series, and things became Smurfy ever after with them at this point. And not just Smurfy for the Smurfs, man, but Smurfy for Christmas. Soon after the series was debuted, they got into some good old-fashioned Christmas fun, starting with their first Christmas special called the Smurfs Christmas Special. I guess you don't really need a fancy name, right? It gets pretty much to the point. That one debuted in 1982, which involved a kidnapping plot of some children by an evil wizard, so that's, not exactly Christmassy, but, it's there. In season 3 of The Smurfs in 1983, we did get this featured Christmas episode, Baby's First Christmas, which is a lot more Christmassy, right? With the merriment of Christmas, the songs, the gift givings with Mr.Nicholas, quite Christmassy. The Smurfs did have their second Christmas special in 1987 called 'Tis the Season to be Smurfy, where the Smurfs were helping out an elderly couple at Christmas. So again, very Christmassy, very approachable, very demure. And in season 7 of The Smurfs, in 1987, they had their second Christmas episode, The Magic Sack of Mr.Nicholas, which was basically a sequel to Baby's First Christmas. You got most of the same characters there, like Mr. Nicholas, him making toys and stuff, the Smurfs kind of acting as his elves, kind of helping him along, and the return of Chlorhydris trying to ruin Mr. Nicholas's Christmas and all that kind of stuff. So those were the Christmas episodes and specials from this legendary 1980s Smurf cartoon, but the Christmas fun would not stop there. No! So in 2011, there was that fantastic Smurfs live-action movie, technically, with a lot of CGI Smurfs. There was an extra Christmas special added to that DVD Blu-ray release, and it was called Smurfs, A Christmas Carol. Yet another rendition of A Christmas Carol, this time involving Grumpy Smurf, but this one was actually pretty cool. They did have that 3D CGI animation kind of going on, but they also did show a lot of 2D animation, harking back to that 1980s TV series. And speaking of TV series, in 2021, there was another Smurfs show, and they did have a couple of Christmas episodes in there. In season 2, there was an episode called A Smurfy Christmas, which was, I'm going to assume, a Christmas that was quite Smurfy. And in season 3, there was a dessert-filled Christmas episode called The 13th Dessert. And I'm sure there will be more Smurf Christmas content in the future. But now, to the main character of this episode,
Mr. Nicholas. This episode was indeed his first cartoon appearance, and well, his first worldwide appearance. And he is another variation of the Santa Claus, St. Nicholas kind of character. Technically based upon St. Nicholas, which Santa Claus was based upon, but you know, not quite. If you assume that Santa Claus was based on some random guy in a forest somewhere building toys for kids of that certain region, yeah, then, you know, this would be pretty accurate, you know, to that kind of description. But for the real St. Nicholas, nay, not quite accurate. He was actually born in the year 270 in Turkey, and he became a bishop in the early Christian church. He also came from a very wealthy family, and he was a philanthropist with that. So he would give gifts of, you know, money or any kind of goods to people whenever they needed it, not at just one time of the year, but, you know, here, there, and everywhere, whether it be a grand or small kind of offering. So, as all things, he did die on December 6 in the year 343, and because he was such a beloved person with his generosity, people around the area set December 6th as the Feast of St. Nicholas, which they celebrated every year. They would give each other gifts, mostly kind of a symbolic gift of like a bag of nuts and fruits, you know, but in the heart of giving, so it's pretty cool. So as Christianity spread throughout Europe, so too did the legend of St. Nicholas. So instead of December 6th, he was eventually attached to Christmas, and he was known as the Christmas time gift giver. So every region kind of has their own folklore and different kind of characters and what they can do magically and whatnot. So eventually, a lot of those magical feats from those characters would be attached to St. Nicholas and his gift-giving prowess. But each region was different, and they had their own variations of what St. Nicholas could magically do, right? Some places he flew on horses, some places he traveled the country in a night, you know, delivering gifts, etc., etc. So in this featured episode with Mr. Nicholas getting flying reindeer, and getting the idea from Smurfs to use smaller workers to help him build his toys. So yeah, that fits pretty good with how things eventually happened with St. Nicholas and his legend. So that parallel between the two works pretty good. But indeed, you know, I don't got a whole lot to talk about with this episode. You got Smurfs, you got Christmas, you got, you know, Santa, basically. That's all you need to know. So with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess, that's that. Also, if you're interested, I created my own comic book channel, 215 Comics. And currently, I have created my own cartoon series, The Adventures of the Density. And recently started a radio series featuring my newest character, Elastomorph, with more titles to come. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link up top here to that channel, and some links at the end of the video. Yeah! Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, you know, feel free to do so. Or anything else, you know, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, you know, have a great day. Thanks.